Hello and welcome to the channel. My name is Kubeir. I'm a CICC licensed immigration consultant, and I always get excited whenever I have to do this video on alternate Wednesday nights, because this is that exciting moment that we can congratulate so many of you out there who have finally received your invitation. Well, what am I talking about? I'm talking about the latest express entry draw, which happened today. For some reason, IRCC is conducting the draws pretty early in the morning, about 9 or 10 in the morning, but publishing the draw very late in the afternoon, 4 o'clock, 3:30, 4 o'clock p.m. kind of a thing. So it sort of, it gives a lot of stressful and anxious moments for people who have been waiting. But thankfully, the draw was here today. And this was even exciting because the number of invitations went up. So let's start with what was in this draw. Express entry draw. This was draw number 234. Well, this is always good because the numbers are growing. And this was a 22nd draw of 2022. It happened today, 26th of August. The number of invitations issued, which is going up, and that is the reason why we are so excited, is 4,750. They kept on with the increment. Last draw was at 4,250, 4,250. They continued with the increment of 500, and we are now at 4,750. I for sure thought that they might not, but it's good to see that they did continue with the increment. The CRS score, finally, we are at below 500. We are at 496. So that 500 mark has been breached. We are now in the 400s. 496 was the CRS score. The tiebreaker that applied was on for the 9th of May 2022. 0904 20 seconds UTC. This basically applies only to the score of 496. Anybody more than 496 would have received their invitations. Only to 496. If your express entry profile was created after the tiebreaker date and time, then you would not include it in this particular draw. You will have to wait for the next draw. And this was the 9th draw, which is all program draw ever since the draws have resumed on the 6th of July. Well, let's look at the pool breakdown, and this is where it gets very interesting. The number of nominations this time were about 762. Now, mind you, this pool breakdown is as of 24th of October, which is 2 days back. So even in this last 2 days, 25th, 26th, or even I'm not sure what time of the day, 24th of October, this pool breakdown is, but I'm sure there were a few profiles that were added. So this number is not accurate because I'm sure there were a few profiles that definitely have been added. But for the sake of discussion, 601 to 1200, which is all provincial nominees, 762. That was the number of people who received their nomination, slightly more than what we have seen earlier. 937 people got added into the pool with a score of 501 and above. So you can see that number still remains extremely high, because the total number of people with more than 500, including the PNPs, was 1,699, which you will agree is a very big number. Where are these people coming from? How many people can still crack French and English at high levels of score? How many people can still secure an LMIA or complete their job offer points? How many of you out there are still scoring high and completing your education and Canadian work experience to get those amazing scores of 501? But congratulations if you received an ITA. 491 to 500, the number of profiles remaining at this point of time is about 3,175. How did we come to that number? It's a simple mathematics. 4,750 minus 1,699. That is the number of profiles above 501, and that would give you the remaining of 3,175 after you minus them from the pool. This is the number of profiles that are available, or rather would be in the express entry pool with scores more than 491. But of course, this number is not accurate because we never know how many more people got added into the express entry pool. What does that basically mean? This is the pool breakdown from the last draw. As you can see, 501 to 600 at that point of time were 2,785. So those people got cleared out. And now we have 1,699, which got added. So Draw on draw, the number increase in the 500 plus range is 1,699. As I just showed you, the number of profiles that are now remaining in the 491 to 500 range is 3,175. So that many number of profiles remain. The drop below 490, when do we anticipate that? Okay, because the next draw that I am estimating, or rather I am anticipating, would be in November. But we will talk about November because that's where it gets very tricky. The number of ITAs I'm expecting 5,000. I don't think it will be an increment of 500, and I'll tell you why. But approximately, if not 4,750, but at least 5,000. CRS score, if that happens, if you see a draw of 5,000, then you're looking at a CRS score of between 491 and 493. That is the anticipation. The drop below 490 will therefore then go into the month of December. And why am I skipping and jumping the month of November and saying, why will the scores drop to below 490 only in December? We'll just come back to that in a bit. But before I get to that, the number of ITAs, even if it is 5,000, okay, why the scores would still not go below 490, at least in my opinion, my views, in my understanding of how the numbers are looking like. At this point of time, 3,175 people in the pool, you would agree? Yes, of course. And obviously with each draw, more number of people get added. We don't know how many who are sitting on the fence will now suddenly all get ready and jump into the pool. Obviously, a lot of people, their work experience gets completed. They complete their 1 year of work experience in Canada. They complete their education in Canada. They all get ready. They jump into the pool. Keeping in mind that above 500, number of people are still getting added. So 1,700 people approximately got added. Of course, there were some nominations as well. So if I keep 1,700 of those and 3,000 remaining number of people in the pool, this itself is roughly 4,700 people. Okay, actually more, 4,800. So even if there was a draw of 5,000, this number would still not be enough to clear the 490 people in the number of profiles with 490 plus. Therefore, in my view, the next draw will not clear out the 490s. It will still be in the 491 to 493 range. It depends highly as to the how many number of people get into the pool. This is the express entry draw trend ever since the scores have started, or rather, ever since the all program draws have started. The future trends, and this is where it gets interesting. Invitations that have been issued as of 6th of July, the number of invitations is 26,250. You would say quite a lot. So you can imagine it has taken that many number of profiles to be cleared in the last 9 draws for the scores to come below 500. Won't you agree? That's an incredible number of profiles, considering on the 6th of July, before the draw happened, there were roughly 8,000 people with a score more than 500, 8,000. But from that date onwards, 26,250 invitations have been issued, and only now the scores have gone down below 500. The number of ITAs that have been issued already in 2022 is 37,039. So that's the number of invitations that have been issued. We are expecting, not expecting, but that has already been announced, IRCC will implement tier system or NOC 2021 on the 16th of November. Now, this is my biggest concern, my biggest worry. I know a lot of people are saying that IRCC has no reason to stop or pause the draws. Well, fair enough. You have a right to your opinion, just the way I have to mine. IRCC has to give the people who are in the express entry pool a chance, a time, an opportunity to make changes to their profile. Now, the system will not automatically make changes. IRCC's system that they use, the GCMS system, the GC key system that we use to create our express entry profiles, trust me, it's an old one. It's a very, very old system. It will not automatically update your NOC system to the tier 2021. It will not happen. And the reason for that is a lot of people whose NOCs are now 4-digit, they will have a bifurcation of a different NOC code, and you might need to choose a totally different NOC code, which is under tier going forward. And that basically means that you will have to do it yourself. It's a good idea to, by now, you should have already checked your NOC 2021 and have that ready. Whenever IRCC will announce that implementation, they will have to give people a certain amount of time. Now, we know the next draw, if you go by the anticipated number of, when the next draw would be, that should be on the 9th of November. Now, would they stop the 9th of November draw, or would they stop the 23rd of November draw? I don't know. But I definitely feel that there is one draw which has a possibility of being paused, and that is where things will go tumbling. And when I say things will go tumbling, I mean the scores will go up again, if not down. I mean, they will not stay at the same. In my opinion, they will definitely go up because of the number of people who keep adding themselves into the pool. So that is the only worry. Because of that expectation or that anticipation that I have, I don't think the 490s would get breached in November. It would be in December. And that is the reason why I have said in this presentation over here, the scores will drop below 490 only in December. Now, we expect 2 draws in December, and that's the reason the number of draws that I'm expecting that are remaining in this year, in the next 2 months, is between 3. I mean, the ideal situation would be 4 draws. That is what we want. I hope there is no pause. I definitely hope that there is no pause at all. But knowing IRCC, knowing the systems, I would be very, very surprised, pleasantly surprised, if there is no pause at all. I'm really hoping for that. But the number of draws that we expect in this year, in the remaining 2 months, is anywhere between 3 and 4. I mean, I would happily take 4 draws, but I'm thinking anywhere between 2 and 3 draws is what we are looking forward to. If that is what happens, then the scores are not coming down. The scores are going to go up whenever the pause happens. And from there on, it will take that much more time for the scores to come down. But the next year, 2023, is looking brighter already because the scores are coming down. With this being said, 490 is getting cleared in December. Now, at the score of 490, now what you need to see again, let me just take this back. 490. Now, look at this. Between 481 and 490, you have nearly 10,000 people. And don't forget, Express Entry pool is dynamic, which basically means people are always adding themselves. Nobody wants to miss a chance. It's not that once the pool has cleared out, nobody is entering the pool. And therefore, the struggle for the scores to drop below is always going to be there, and it's going to be a tough one. So definitely, we are looking forward to seeing 490s being cleared by December. So we will breach the 490 in December, and from there on, it's a matter of time when we see 480 being breached. And I am anticipating somewhere, if everything remains the same, I mean, they continue inviting 4,500 plus people. If they continue inviting that many number of people, you should see 480s being breached somewhere in the month of Feb and March. At least that's what it looks like. The anticipation of the Bill C-19 is spring, or rather post-spring, definitely not spring. It is only by spring they would have the IT systems ready to accommodate the new categories that they would be announcing. By Jan, Feb next year, we would definitely know how this will look like, because IRCC is bound to announce the categories to Parliament. At that point of time, they would be making the announcement what kind of categories and how they would be conducting the draw. We would have so much more clarity once we get to that. But at the same time, I would also like to share with you this particular memo. I'm not sure how many of you have seen it already. We had posted it on our Facebook groups as well. Now, this was the memo that was sent to, Sean Fraser, the Immigration Minister, asking for the, not to Sean Fraser, because it's never to Sean Fraser. It's to the Deputy Minister, asking for the approval to resume the express entry draws on the 6th of July. Well, I mean, this is all old news, nothing important here. What is important that we should look at here is this. And it says, currently there is a sufficient inventory to meet the 2022 FHS targets. However, starting rounds again in July 2022 will provide support for an increased FHS admissions target in 2023, which is 75,770 and 55,900 in 2022. So what this basically means is, for this year, 2022, 55,900 is the immigration target. They already have enough people from the previous backlogs to clear the immigration quotas for 2022. All the invitations that are being issued right now in the last 6 months or so, they will all contribute to the immigration quotas for the next year, which is 75,750. As we move forward into the next year, which is 2023, the number of invitations that you will see will also partly contribute to 2023, and then remaining to 2024. We will have much more clarity on the numbers, of course, end of this month or 1st of November, as to the new multi-year immigration levels plan, and that will also give us bit more clarity. Now, in this particular memo, they had said, and this was a conservative figure, they said they will bring up the invitations to 4,250 by December 2022. They have already crossed that number. So this was the reason I was thinking that they will cap the numbers to 4,250, but thankfully they have crossed that number and have gone up to 4,750. Now it's only a matter of time. We have to see whether they will continue with these high number of draws, or are they going to cap it at some point of time? Because honestly speaking, and looking at the numbers, they don't really have the bandwidth to continue issuing so many draws or so many invitations, because they are restricted by the quota. The quota for next year is 75,000 people. 75,000 people. It's not 75,000 invitations. People get that wrong. Invitation basically means an application. People means the number of people that could also be in the application. For example, one application, one invitation could mean four people, because that one application could be of a person, which is couple and 2 children, making it a total of 4, and therefore 4 people will get contributed towards the 75,000 target, and that's how the numbers are calculated. So this target that you see, 75,750, is not the number of invitations, it's number of people, and therefore the number of invitations for next year would be in the range of, or rather the total number of invitations needed to meet this quota would be in the range of about 50,000. And as you see, for this year, they have already cleared, or rather they have already issued, and that's where we are, they've already issued 37,000 invitations. We have remaining 3 or 4, anywhere between 2 to 4 draws. They could be issuing anywhere between 10 to 12 to 13,000 invitations, bringing the total number of invitations for this year to about 50,000, give or take a few. So this, my friends, is the breakdown. This is the analysis. This is what it's looking like. It's not all bad, I know that. At least we are now below 500, so that's a good thing. That's to sort of keep our chins up and look at something positive. At least 4,750 people did receive an invitation after anxious wait for, I'm not sure how. It must be a huge sigh of relief for all those 498, 499s and 497s who have been waiting anxiously. So it's a good one. I know people now in the 495 below range are suddenly anxious because what's going to happen with the draws going forward. And November definitely is full of anticipation, or rather anxiety, and stress, because honestly speaking, nobody knows whether there will be a pause or not. I definitely anticipate one, and I'll just explain that to you why. So that's basically all that I have to share with you. It was nice catching up again. And on that note, of course, I have to talk to you about this one as well. Tomorrow morning, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I will be hosting Stephen Murans. For people who do not know Stephen Murans, he's a Canadian immigration lawyer and very, very popular on Twitter. He does share all these beautiful information and documents that he gets through ATIP from IRCC. And that memo that I just showed you, this memo was also obtained by Stephen Murans and shared on Twitter account for everybody else to see as to what IRCC is up to. So tomorrow, I will be talking to Stephen tomorrow live at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time about the use of artificial intelligence on immigration applications. And we are talking about all kinds of immigration applications, visit visas, study permits, and now even express entry applications, of course, spousal sponsorships as well. So do tune in live, because that is going to be an interesting one. And of course, we're going to ask him a lot about what's happening with this express entry, because he was one of those guys who thought, or rather who felt, that CEC specific draws would definitely be held this year. So far, it hasn't happened. So we're going to quiz him on that as well. So do tune in, do join me live tomorrow at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And that's basically all that I have. If you're still here, give us a boop on the like button, and of course, do subscribe to the channel. It's always good to see those numbers going up. That's all I have. Thank you so much for joining in. Take care and good night.